Welcome to Bollywood to Hollywood. People wonder who casts Bollywood movies in America. Well, there are no Bollywood people here. Would it be an American or Indian or maybe somebody alien? Wow, we have an important person here who casts for Bollywood movies. Her name is Rita Powers. Hi, Rita. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Your name, Rita, it sounds like Indian. Are you Indian?
No, I'm not Indian.
But the Powers.
I'm a New Yorker, born and bred.
Yeah, the Powers is that's an American name.
It is an American name.
So you are from New York?
I am from New York.
So how did you get into this Bollywood business or casting business?
Well, I was an agent
Uh-huh.
with a SAG franchise agency, and I opened my own company. And I happened to open my own company in a film building. And my neighbors were all producers.
Oh,
So
that's on the 8th Avenue.
No, this is on Greenwich Street,
Oh, Greenwich
451
Street.
downtown Greenwich Street. It was a film building. And my neighbors were producers, and they're like, a friend said, Rita, start casting, and I started doing extra casting for her film, but she wasn't the first person that hired me.
Who is that friend's name? Who is that?
Her name is Robin O'Hara from Forensic Films.
Oh,
So I didn't actually start working for Robin. That wasn't my first film. I got a call from Anadel Hussein, and Anadel Hussein said, I'd like to come to your office to talk to you about casting a film. And she came to my office, and Anadel and Yash Johar walked in my office. Yash Johar is Karan Johar's father. And they
that's the big Bollywood.
the big Bollywood producers, yes. Which at the time I didn't know who they were. I didn't really know much about Bollywood.
Did you shake their hand?
Of course. I actually, Mr. Johar was very...
He should have said namaste.
I did.
Okay.
At first I said hello, and then I realized it was namaste. I wasn't 100% sure of the etiquette at the time.
Yeah.
But it was actually an amazing process. My first film was Kalho Naho. So for people that watch Bollywood films, everybody knows Kalho
Which year was
Naho.
that?
I think it was 2002 or 2003 it came out. I believe I was casting it in between the end of 2001 and 2002.
Oh, that's right after the 9/11.
Right after 9/11, yes. It was right after 9/11.
Are you in any way involved with 9/11, affected
Well,
by
I
9/11?
was actually quite affected by 9/11 because my office was downtown on Greenwich Street. But I was pregnant at the time 9/11 happened to my son, who happens to be 8 now.
But he's all right, right?
He's fine. Actually, we're blessed that I wasn't in my building at the time. My staff was on the way, but nobody was hurt. But I didn't know if I still had a business at the time. So what happened, I came in the next day and they didn't tell me to wear a mask, and I was pregnant. So I wound up with bilateral pneumonia, and I was on life support for 11 days.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They told my husband that we weren't going to make it, both I and the baby, but obviously
Oh, here
they
we
were
are.
wrong.
Yeah, here we are,
Actually, what my
2010.
husband told the doctors is, you don't know my wife.
You're funny, huh?
You don't know my wife. And it turned out that I was fine, and my son, he's perfect.
So, did you travel to India?
I've never traveled to India. Actually, last year was the first year I was really going to go to India, because I worked for a director who heads Ogilvy and Mather, Renzel da Silva, for a film I did.
Wow, they didn't invite you to India?
He invited me to India, and he said he would. A lot of people have invited me to India. Actually, some people even tell me I'm a little famous in India. I don't believe it, but I've never been
Well,
there.
if you're casting for Bollywood films, you would be.
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of films because of who the people that I've worked for. I mean, I've done Tollywood films.
That is Telugu.
Because Telugu, yes.
Yeah,
because
see, I come from Andhra Pradesh. We speak Telugu.
Yeah.
See, in India, we have like major 15 languages. So everyone has every word. Telugu has Thali word, Hindi has Bollywood.
Bollywood.
So every other state has a word. But Telugu is a very widely spoken language.
In India.
Yeah, it's
yes.
called Italian of the East. So How do you deal with this cultural issue of casting for a?
I
I
have
mean,
funny,
Bollywood.
actually, there's funny stories. There's not really any cultural issues. I did learn a lot about, people from India and what happened was originally when I first started casting for the films, I would always have somebody who spoke Hindi in the room with me when I auditioned talent. But as time has gone on, sometimes I don't. And I know good Hindi now.
So you speak Hindi now?
No, I don't speak Hindi.
But you understand
But
Hindi?
I understand Hindi, and I understand when they're speaking the correct dialect, for sure. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing it for a while
Well,
now.
see, I lived here 25 years. I speak English, but I know different accents, like Southern accent. I still have sometimes trouble with Long Island accent.
Can you do a Brooklyn accent?
Brooklyn, yeah.
Let me hear it.
What do you do, man? What do you do?
No, it's
What the hell are you doing?
about it.
Forget about
Go
it.
like this. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
That's it.
You see? But see, there is something about casting in foreign language. But they say acting is behavior. So probably you are experienced as a agent and then a casting director, and you look for the behavior rather than the words.
That's true.
So the language they speak doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter. You can tell no matter what language they're speaking if they have the feeling of the character that you're casting for. So it wouldn't matter if they were speaking Chinese and I didn't speak Chinese, but you can tell if they're acting the part correctly. What happens in my end of casting is I see the director's vision. Now, most of the time I'll get to talk to a director and I know his vision. Sometimes it comes up quick, you don't get to talk to a director, so I have to talk to the assistant director. I get a vision somehow. So I have to fit the vision in the director's head for the character to who I'm going to cast. So it wouldn't matter what language it was in because I know what the director wants in the character.
Well, see, the Bollywood culture is different from the Hollywood culture. In Hollywood, we have to have an agent or a manager or somebody, and we have to go through their process. But in Bollywood, it's all the directors pick. So if you know the directors,
Right.
you get the job.
Exactly.
And they know all the actors. So does it cause any problem for you in casting? Because
Well, you see, the thing is, when I do the Bollywood films that I do, they come from India. They already, with the producers I work for, they already come from India with the stars. I don't have anything to do with getting, say, Shah Rukh Khan or John Abraham.
that will be nice if you can cast
I
them.
like Shah Rukh Khan. Actually, I spoke to him and I said, "Do you have an agent?" And he doesn't have an agent.
You know, they don't have agents
Nobody
in
in India, the biggest stars in India, unless they're represented here by an agent, for work in America, they don't have agents there.
Well, Aishwarya Rai told me one time that, well, Rao, if you want to work here, you have to have a manager or an agent. Back home, it's not the same.
It's not.
So if you know the director, they call you and they can book you. That's it. That's what Meera Nair does.
I know.
But
I
he-
have actually had some. Anadel Hussain, which was the first movie and the second Bollywood movie I worked on, works with Meera Nair, and I have little things I've done. I have no casting credits, but I have some experience with helping out with certain things for.
Is she nice to you?
Well, I've never spoke to Meera, but Anadel's very nice to me.
Okay,
She's
okay.
been my client for years, so she's always very nice to me.
Well, this Bollywood stuff, if you...
I don't just only do Bollywood, though.
Ah. What else do you do?
Foreign films. Foreign films have
Such as?
I've done a Serbian film. I just finished an Italian film here in New York called Il Giallino, The Little Gem. I've done Chinese films.
Really?
Yeah. Korean.
Do you know any Kung Fu?
No. But I could kick butt if I had to. No, I don't. No.
So how do you find your Indian talent here?
Well, because I've been doing it for quite a long time, I have a file on my Indian actor. Well, I do a number.
Besides your file.
Well, besides my file, I do a number of different things because a lot of time I'm looking for characters, say an older Indian man with white hair. In the New York market, that's impossible to find. You know that, right? It's impossible. There's not many good actors with white hair, 70 years old, that want to work in Bollywood films in New York. Because a lot of times they do it non-union. If it's union, it's easier. I can go to all the big agents. But if they're doing it when it's not affiliated with the Screen Actors Guild, it's a little more difficult. I have to go into neighborhoods. I've gone into Jackson Heights. I've gone into Edison. I find people on the street. Actually, I was at a movie premiere for one of the movies that I had done for Bollywood, and I said, I need you in my next movie, to one of the guys who worked on the producing team. And he was in the next movie for another company.
I used to have a gray hair.
You did.
But that leads me to another question. See, a lot of us who are union actors, see, most of the movies that is coming from India, the so-called Bollywood movies, shooting in New York or in LA, wherever, they're mostly non-union.
It is.
And so there's a lot of us who are talented and who are members of the union feel like left out. So how, is there a way this situation could change?
Well, I'll be honest with you, the only
they have money.
They do
Bollywood
have
has
money. They do, but they don't want to play the game with the unions.
Why not?
I don't know. I did one Bollywood film, which is Tararampam, that was union because of the stunts. If you did see the movie, it had a lot of car driving. It was about a race car driver, and it was a taxi cab. So there was a lot of involved stunts. So they went in the union to get the union stunt drivers. And I'm going to do another film coming up with Indian talent, and they're going to do it union, but it's few and far between. I think My Name is Khan might have been union too, but I didn't work on it. Friends did, but I didn't.
Well, I was in Tararampur. You cast me.
I did.
Yeah, the car manufacturer.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I do.
Did
you see the film?
Yeah.
It was great, right? Siddharth Anand.
So, I mean, there are exceptions.
There are exceptions. Do you want the truth? I mean, honestly, if you're going to cut it out, then that's fine too. But Indian actors, sometimes even if they're union, they want to be in Bollywood films. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them because it's not the same market as union films would be marketed in anyway, not the same distributors.
Well, probably they want to show our face to Mother India.
I think that would be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Their money may not be that great, but
yeah, it's not
the
the
pride.
money. But I'll be honest with you, it's not so much as the money they're going to pay because they don't pay terribly. It's the conditions too. But they
have to pay at least the union minimum.
The films that I do work on and that have been coming out, I've been working on recently, they will pay, what the union day rate is, and they do pay in a timely manner, and they have holding, and they feed you on set, and, it's a very well-run production.
Yeah, because there's a reason why the union is there in this country, to protect actors' interests.
I agree with you.
Because in India, there is no union, it's a lot of exploitation.
A lot of exploitation. The extras in India work for free. So when they first came here, they thought, we could get extras here for free, and it's not possible, really. People will say they're going to show up to a movie set for free, but they don't.
When Amitabh Bachchan or Jay Bahaduri or Shah Rukh Khan, when they come, do they talk to you? And
I've spoken to Shah Rukh Khan.
Do they take you do you invite them to a dinner at home? Or?
Actually, no, I would. Most of the producers I've invited to my home, but Shah Rukh, no, he's always so busy. I have not invited him, but I did invite John Abraham.
Yeah, would you like to invite him?
I would. And I'd like for him to come because he's very nice.
Well, here is an open invitation for...
John, come to my house.
Come to Rita's house. I'll be there too, huh? There may be a lot of Indians watching this show.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then they would like to know who you are, because they might be assuming, well, Bollywood means Indian, so she must be Indian.
Actually, no, I'm an Italian-American from Brooklyn.
People, yesterday I met somebody, they have this DNA testing.
DNA testing?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can go on nationalgeographic.com and you can do your DNA testing.
Yes.
And this lady, she's Italian and a little bit of Irish, but she found Indian in her DNA.
Really?
Yeah. Would you like to get your DNA tested?
I probably could find some Indian in
probably.
there.
Maybe there is some Indian in
Probably. That's why I tan.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, we had to color your hair, though.
Yeah, probably. A little darker.
Yeah, well, in North India. You see, Kashmir is a beautiful place.
Kashmir, yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
I've
so,
heard that.
Yeah, would you like to go there someday?
I would love to. You know what? I always wanted to go to India. I still do because of my involvement with the films. But when I did see Slumdog Millionaire and how the people live there, it scared me. I don't like to see poverty like that.
Is it poverty or is it that caste thing?
I think it's probably the caste system, but I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair to children. I don't want to see that. It scared me to go and see that. It really did.
So what do you think of Slumdog Millionaire? You know, it
was a fabulous film. It was amazing.
What is it that you like in it?
The acting, I think Irfan Khan was amazing. I thought as the detective he was fabulous. The reality of it, I like the reality of it. The story was quite interesting.
So if you have a choice between casting Irfan Khan, who's already known in India, or maybe casting somebody like me for that role, would you cast me?
If you were right for the role, I'd love to cast you.
So the fame doesn't matter.
What most people don't realize is I want everybody who comes in and auditions for me in front of the camera to get the role, because you make me look good. So I want you to get the role.
So what about this children in that movie, Slumdog Millionaire? You know, I like when the little kid, he jumps into the shithole. So I didn't expect that one.
No, I didn't expect that either.
See, that comes from the creative brain. To me, creative brain is what? Right brain. See, left-handed people are more creative.
Do you believe? You really believe?
Yeah,
so?
this is there's two parts of the brain. See, the left brain is the social brain. It tells you, don't do this, don't do that. You know, if you put your finger in your fire, you'll burn it. And the creative brain, it has no control. So that's where all the dreams comes from. That's where all the creativity comes from. So when I looked at that one, whoever wrote that script or whoever directed it, that particular scene, it was creative because we didn't expect that a little kid will jump in and try to meet with Amitabh Bachchan.
Try to meet Amitabh Bachchan. That was yes, it was quite unexpected. What I can say about Bollywood is that the reason that I enjoy watching it is I can watch it with my children and not be embarrassed because there's no, nudity or violence or foul language. That part about it I do like. I like the cleanness and the pureness of it.
Well, but that's the old school. What about free expression?
You know what? I believe in free expression, but I mean, it doesn't have to be everywhere.
Oh, well, I was thinking about something else. Whenever the Indians broke into the Hollywood scene, it was through the British. You see, in the 50s, when we have all these Rudyard Kipling stories, Jungle Boy and all this came, they brought this Indian they met in Rajasthan. It was a British director who brought it. Then it was Atan Baros Gandhi. It was again the British. Then when you come to the Slumdog Millionaire, it's again the British. So it seems like, we have 200 years of experience, love-hate relationship with England. So it seems like we have to go through the British in order to come to Hollywood.
Do you believe that?
Well, the history seems like, would you agree with that? That's why I'm asking.
I don't know. Somewhat I'd say you're right in retrospect to how it all goes around the British, but I don't know. I think that Steven Spielberg's involved with doing Bollywood with a country and with a company in India right now.
Yeah, I don't know how successful he is.
It's not really, I haven't heard much success coming out of it, but I know there is involvement. I don't know.
See, I wrote a thesis in my master's program at Georgia. I read a book. It's a Harvard professor. He was talking about the Americans. They are not directly involved with India. So whatever they know about India, it was anglicized by the British. See, that's why they know India through the Rudyard Kipling novels. And he has his own kind of layers, kind of bad layers, because Indians eating dirty in the melons on the train. But he never understood people offering food to the other people. It's all dirty, dirty. That's not British manners. But for Indians, offering food is a cultural thing. So maybe Americans are looking still at India through the eyes of the British. I mean, you're an American, you know.
I don't. Me personally, I don't look. I look at it, you know, from the people that I've been involved with as never being there. From what I read, what I see. Now, I personally don't. So I don't know really how to answer that, honestly.
So what do you think? You think
I think
you will
that
openly embrace?
Yeah, I can't wait to go to India. The biggest problem with me going is that long flight. I don't want to get on a plane for 18 hours.
Do you like Indian food?
I love Indian food.
What do you like about Indian
Samosa.
food?
I love them.
Oh.
I love them. I don't really like curry, but I like vegetables. So you always have a lot of vegetables.
Are you a vegetarian?
No. I do eat red meat, but I like vegetables.
Would you like a shish kebab?
Right now? Okay.
Well, maybe we have to go and order something. Maybe after the show.
Okay, after the show.
India has a billion or 1.2 billion population. That is a huge market for America. Even if every Indian gives $1, that's $1 billion.
Right.
And America has only 300 million, or 350 at the most. Do you think there is that much market for Bollywood movies here in America?
Yes.
How
It's
much?
not only here. From what I know, there's because it's not only Indian people that are interested in Bollywood. It's Bangladesh, it's Pakistan. It's not only.
No, but that's only 2 point something. The
Billion.
whole,
Yeah,
the
but
percent of the
I'll be honest,
Asian population.
Every film that I have ever cast for Bollywood is opened right here on 42nd Street.
So what about the regular Anglo-Saxon white people?
Are they interested in going to Bollywood?
Yeah.
Generally, when I go to the Bollywood films, I'm the only white Anglo-Saxon person in the film.
So
Lately, after Slumdog, before Slumdog, I would be the only Caucasian person.
so there are more people getting
Now,
interested.
since Slumdog, I think it's changed. There's more people.
Why?
Because it's brought out into the light, because people know about it now. Before, it wasn't as publicized. Now that Slumdog won, it was in the center of the spotlight for a little while, so people show some interest.
See, that's where I was trying to get my point across. You may correct me if I'm wrong. See, the Slumdog Millionaire, the director, he took a story, ordinary Indian story, and was able to relate to the non-Indians.
Yes.
See, the culture and everything went away. It was a human story. I think that's why he got the Oscar.
I believe so.
Whereas most of the Bollywood movies I'm seeing here, they're all very typical or just stereotyped, because they're not really telling the Indian stories, which means basically the people's stories. They're just be bringing some maybe religious ceremony or maybe colors of the Bollywood. But that's not
not really.
India. But
I mean,
it's the person, right? People. It's stories about the people.
Right.
And are they really telling those stories?
In certain films,
I mean, from
yes.
your movies you have cast.
In certain films that I've worked on, yes, they are relatable stories to Indian people that anyone could relate to in certain films. And in certain other films, it's just dance Bollywood scenes and you know, the clothes and the marriage ceremony. So I do agree with somewhat of what you're saying, but not on a whole context of the whole film genre, because I have seen Bollywood films and, you know, Hindi films with relatable characters, with stories.
I give you an example. it's not about me, but I was studying with Austin Pendleton, and he gave me a scene, the view from the bridge. So I have to be playing Italian lawyer, and I'm talking to Eddie, the one that has trouble with his niece. So when I did that, it reminded me of my niece. And my brother used to call me and talk to me about it because he didn't want to marry outside the caste. When I was doing the scene, the characters rose. Actually, the Eddie character was like my brother, rose up and spoke to me. And finally when I did the scene, I cried. I really cried. And Ashton said, "Rao, this is the best work I have seen from you." The point I was trying to get is, I realized I don't have to be Italian to play Italian. I just play me, human being. So my point is, are they really doing that, the Indians, the Bollywood movies that are coming here? See, if they can do that, then they can relate to the American audience. My
There's
name
a
is
film-
Khan.
My name is Khan.
Or so many others came. Are they able to transcend human to human? Are they telling the stories of these transcending stories?
Some are. Just like any American film, some are telling transcending stories. Just in the same, we could flip it the same way.
So what about the Hollywood, like Steven Spielberg or Fox is there? A lot of them are trying to get there. So are they able to transcend some of these American stories to Indians?
I think once they get a good script, it will transcend. I think once a good script, they have the good right script, I'm pretty sure it will transcend. Because honestly, when I started doing casting in 2002 on Bollywood, I didn't think that, any film from India, having to do it, even though it wasn't Bollywood, would get to the Oscar, to the Academy Awards.
Well, see, when we talk about Bollywood and Hollywood, we're only talking about commercial films. What about the real independent films? It's like the real theater.
See, that's what I like, though. I'm creative. I like the independent stuff. That's where you're going to get the most talented. That's where you're going to get the good raw scripts in independent films.